I hope this. Every time I think I have the same gripe about this. Maybe one day I will upgrade to a nice camera, but for now I'm going to continue to use my phone. That's better. I'm really excited to. My eyes look a little red. My face looks a little burnt. The sun is really doing damage out there now. I don't know. No, what? Maybe it's because it's less people commuting or less people outside. I don't know what the cause of it is, but for some reason it feels like the sun's hotter. That's just my observation. Because it seems like every time I go out, my skin looks like it's been like really burnt, and I'm like not in the sun any more than I usually am. For the duration of time that I'm in the sun isn't any longer than I usually am. That's just something I'm thinking about. So today I'm going to be reviewing Breaking Bad, of course, season. Oh God, I think it's season two. Is it season two or season three? It's just season three, episode two. It'll be in the description if it's not that. I apologize. The title of this episode is Caballo sin nombre. Try to say it best I can. It's in Spanish, but it's horse with no name. They actually wind up putting a really popular song from the same title, but in English, in the episode. Um, this is another one of those setup episodes, so it's pretty uneventful, but it's setting up like the next two or three episodes, and I'm just really excited to see what's happening between Mr. and Mrs. White. Now, I think I've spoken on this before. It touches kind of a personal chord because I was in Junior's situation in real life, in my personal life. I was a bit younger than he was. Well, a bit younger than the character was, but um, I lived. I almost want to make fun of it. I'm a survivor of a divorce, I guess. Um, there's a lot of things. It is hard for me to watch. I'm gonna put that out there on the internet. It's hard for me to watch this. Brings back some memories. Just basically, I couldn't hear this phrase enough. You're just a kid. You understand when you're older. You know, I, now today I can understand where my mother was coming from, where my father was coming from. I see both sides of the story, and I've been able to formulate my own conclusion uh, based on based on my life experiences and what I've come to realize, which is fact and fiction, if you will, or what's coming from a place of emotion, what's coming from a place of like logical thinking, I guess is the way you put it. Um, Still, of course, there's a lot for me to learn in real life. But back to the episode. So, like I said, this is another one of those setup episodes, so it's pretty uneventful. But so far in this series, once I've figured it out that they had certain episodes like this, they do a great job of planting seeds. So they do a great job of planting seeds of interest, I should say. So they do a great job of drawing you in with these particular episodes, even though there's nothing that lives up to the last episodes, like ATM on somebody's head, or having to dissolve a body, or getting their hands on like $400,000, something like that. Nothing super eventful. But like I said, it does a great job of planting seeds of interest. And of course, I'm ready and willing to watch another episode, which I will. Um, I'll make two uploads today. Why not? Why not? Well, we're in quarantine, hey? Why not? So, but anyway, this episode involves Junior. Junior finally sticks his head back out and voices his opinion in this episode, which I'm really happy that his character's back and speaking. Uh, Now I'm starting after so many episodes of not understanding where Mrs. White was coming from, and then basically jumping on her bandwagon. Now I'm starting to kind of veer a little bit away from that clan or group of, or that way of thinking. But I'm not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to jump on Mr. White's bandwagon, of course. There's no teams here. I'm just moving away from that character. She does have a point. She feels, I believe that character feels betrayed and, betrayed, left in the dark, and the morals that she not grew up with, but the morals that she's grown to grasp in her adulthood, what Mr. White's doing doesn't fit with those. Understandable. Now, Mr. White, man, you know what? I think they play that character too. I think this is actually one downfall of this character. They play him too much as a stereotypical man. Let me explain. They make it seem like, well, maybe just playing it as a character, I guess, not necessarily a typical man. Maybe I'm getting that one wrong. It making it seem like he's doing everything he thinks will work, and when it doesn't work, he doesn't understand, so he's getting frustrated. He winds up throwing a pizza on the roof, which I think is, I guess it was meant to be more impactful than it was. The stuff that impacts me is the fact that they still have these twin assassins walking around, which I think is just, like I said, that parallels a lot of good horror movies of past. Twins always mean bad things, and then you throw in the, I know I'm jumping around, but then you throw in Mr. Saul, his guy, his fixer. You throw on him, and then you found there's another connection with Mr. White's and Pinkman's biggest purchaser. You find out there's a connection with those guys, with the assassins and him, and then Mr. Saul's fixer saves the day, and then it's just like, oh man, it starts to get good. You know, it's pretty uneventful, but it's at the same time it's more than your typical setup episode. Trying to think what else happened in this episode. Yeah. Oh, and the in-laws, they do their part of causing confusion in the viewer. They're there to kind of throw they're trying to throw you off the scent, I guess, of what's really going on, or they're just, these characters are there in this episode in order just to, create more speculation, which is good. Leave the audience thinking or guessing, I guess. Didn't mean to say that, but yeah. But it looks like Mr. White doesn't even care at this point. He said, "Hey, forget it. I'm moving back in my house," which I feel like is a very bad idea. Because he made the first mistake of telling her what he's actually doing. It's like, don't do that. And I've already spoken on her reasons behind it. Like I said, it goes against her values that she's grasped in her adulthood. It's understandable. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Pinkman. Oh man, I love the way Pinkman's character is going right now. So it seems like he's come to a place of understanding, or he has learned to live with whatever demons he's been wrestling with. But he comes back and sees that instead of his parents keeping their word and saying, "Hey, if you do good, we'll be able to give it back." Guess what he was living in his auntie's house, which he winded up taking care of before she passed of cancer. Ironically, Mr. White has cancer too. But instead of them keeping their word, they wind up putting their own money into their property and then trying to sell it. Pinkman finds out about this, but Pinkman has his own money. But of course, they're asking double of what Pinkman has. But I gotta give it to Saul. he does a great job. He does a great job of using leverage in order to get them to sell the house for the amount of money that Pinkman has. So what does Pinkman do? He walks up. He drives up to the house. He starts walking to the house. Parents are like, hey, you can't go in there. We sold the house, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, no, it's my house now. Opens the door, gives him a look back. Not a shitty look. Gives him a look back. Closes the door behind him. And they're sitting there dumbfounded, which I maybe using that word wrong, but I love that. I love that scene. It's a good scene. I think that's pretty much all that happened in the episode. Now I'm excited to see the next episode. Oh, I almost forgot. Nah, I won't say that. Nah, somebody wants to watch it, they can watch it. Mr. White escapes death, but in a very cinematic way.